Happy Saturday morning and welcome to the first Reality of Real Estate of 2026. A whole new year, all fresh and clean, polished, still has that New Year's smell. And Cynthia Hash joins us from Find Homes Realty, findhomesusa.com. Good morning, Cynthia. Happy New Year. How are you?
Hey, Happy New Year. It's so good to see you. I hope the recording did okay because I heard a couple of hiccups, so I hope it's on. If it's on my end, please let me know.
Oh, I'm not
But we
hiccuping,
have
so
some. You're not hiccuping,
no.
okay? Uh, well, I will tell you with the holiday schedule, all that kind of stuff. There's so much more to do,
Hmm.
and I know it's all fun and everything, but it can be very stressful. And I know that some people get the New Year's resolutions that are like, what I'm going to do these things to my house, right? And I'm going to make things better. Well,
Hmm.
you might want to get some advice on what's considered better, because there's certain there are certain home features that actually there are some that help us and some that can hurt us. And so we don't want to make the mistake of doing something that is is especially if you have any kind of inclined to at any point be able in the next year or two selling the property.
Mm.
But because you want to make sure that you're not doing like every single how room has carpet, or every single you have mauve carpet
Really?
and blue tile and all these kind of silly things. And so there's some things that we can go over that are they're actually these are things, the top six design details that will actually help your home
Oh,
sell. Okay.
that's kind of cool
Yeah.
because I know that somebody told me years and years ago that, depending on if it's just sort of a basic home,
Hmm.
you don't want to get, too over the top with decor because it's a
Right.
basic home. If you have
Right.
a period piece, an 18th century home, and you want to paint it so that it matches the way it may have looked in the 18th century, that's one thing. But let's,
That's it. Yeah.
The Virginia or Virginia Tech or JMU banners on all the walls probably will limit your selling point.
And sometimes they paint them on there, because they're such loyal fans of their
Yes,
alma
yes.
mater.
Anyway, so what are these 6 points?
Well, so do you which ones do you want me to go over first? There's six particular bathroom features that actually lower your home's value.
Really?
Uh-huh. And then there's about six design features and details that will actually help your home sell. So which one do you want me to go over first?
Well, let's do the ones we should avoid first. I think
Okay.
that's
All
a good
right.
start.
All right, sounds good. So, it is mainly about bathrooms because this is where people make some of their biggest mistakes, I think. And basically, if you have things like, for example, huge, oversized jacuzzi tubs. Okay, well, that's just a name
Mhm.
brand, but
Right.
yeah,
With the jets and yeah.
it's the jetted tubs.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking about, listing and you think, well, I want to change this bathtub, that's probably not the thing to do it to, not where you should spend your money.
Okay.
In other words, don't make it a jacuzzi tub if it wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Uh,
right. Don't go that way if you're not keeping it.
exactly. And people say, well, why is it taking away value of the home? Well, first of all, they're actually kind of costly to maintain.
Really?
And yeah, and sometimes they're oftentimes they're unattractive, because they are, they have all this, wood around them, or maybe they might even have tile around them and it might look nice, but that also takes up a tremendous amount of space.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Now, these
so,
are the indoor ones that are a
correct.
bathroom feature, not something you have out in the backyard,
No, no, not
next
like
to
that.
the fire pit.
Yeah, exactly. It's not
Okay.
not like that. But th this is inside, and and some of them, because they have so much they take up so much space, people don't t have a tendency to not want them. I'll tell you
Mm.
another kind of ugly thing about jacuzzi tubs, and that is they are if you do a home inspection with a jacuzzi tub, okay, or let's just call it a jetted tub
Okay.
in the house. If you're doing a home inspection with a jetted tub, those things, I mean to tell you, they have to fill the whole thing up. They meaning the home inspector. They have to fill the whole thing up, and then they have to, run those jets to make sure they're all working, right?
Sure.
You should see the junk that comes out of those things.
Really? Oh,
Oh, it's
gross.
so nasty. It's so gross. And so,
And
because
you're taking a bath in that?
yes, exactly. So the most people don't use their jetted tubs very often. So if you have a particular,
Oh,
like if you have somebody that really, they have aches and pains and they use their tub often, then you're not going to
physical
have.
work.
Exactly. Then it's working all the time, and you're not getting all that coagulated, moldy stuff
Ew.
in the pipes, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So just a thought, if you're
It
gonna
doesn't
spend
sound like
money.
there are many of us that do that. So,
I mean, I tell you, taking a bath, I can tell you maybe taking a bath once every 5 years. It is not enough to spend the money on a jetted tub, is all I
well,
can say.
and I talk to my friends at Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, and they'll talk about those outdoor ones that you fill
Yeah.
up and you've got to keep. And they
Yeah.
said it's much more intense than even a swimming pool in terms of
Yes.
chemicals
Yeah.
and different balancing and checking
That's
pH
right.
because of the temperature and how frequently they get used. And they said they're not even the ones that are set up specifically for that don't get
Yeah.
used all that much.
Yeah, exactly. And
Wow.
even though it's a feature that you might, you take a vacation, let's say, and you go to and you have a jetted tub in the in the hotel room, not usually in the hotels, but if you're going to
There are some hotels.
Airbnb, or they might have
Catskills have some
yeah.
jetted tubs in the Catskills.
There you go. There you go. Or something, or even an outdoor area space that
Sure.
has
Oh yeah.
one of those, but I would say that would be a waste of money if you were trying to remodel your home, unless you have a particular person in your family that needs to use that tub for maybe medical reasons even,
Yeah.
then that's something. But then the second one that I think this was in Southern Living, too bland of a space essentially, and that's where it can you're trying to how do you personalize a bathroom?
Yeah.
You can't go beyond, you can't be too vibrant, and you can if you want to, but
Mhm.
then it's going to be something that somebody's going to say, why am I'm going to have to remodel this whole bathroom.
See, I never thought about that, but the house we purchased has a white tile bathroom with,
Mhm,
beige walls.
mhm.
And then the color comes from the towels and the bath mats and things like that. So I mean, to me anyway, and this is just me. Please don't judge based
Yeah,
on
no,
me.
no.
The more basic the bathroom, and then you add the color with the
Yeah.
towels and the soaps and things like that.
Right. Well, and that's perfectly fine. And that's basically staging. But you have to find a happy medium,
Hmm.
because if it's too vibrant or if it's too bland, then it's not going to pop in the photos.
Okay.
When you're getting ready to sell, kind of thing.
Okay.
But and you don't want to personalize it too much either. I'm not sure exactly how you would personalize a bathroom really,
Yeah.
because it's like Really? I don't know.
Monogram toilet seat or something. I
I
don't know.
don't know, kind of silly. But you can add some embellishments, to the bathroom without going too far down one of those avenues that would
Okay.
be the opposites of each other. So lighting, swap out the lighting. If that's all you do, swap
Okay. How
out
do
the
you mean?
lighting. Hmm.
You mean like, change out for like incandescent bulbs for LED, or are you talking about actually doing like
Uh-huh.
soffits in the roof or
No, well, some people have you ever seen those? It is a tunnel. That is interesting because it takes, it's like you know what a skylight is, right?
Oh, I know the ones you're talking about. My
The,
friend Butch Duke puts those in.
yeah, but they're tunnels
Right.
and
Yeah.
they brighten up a bathroom.
And
Oh
it's
yeah.
surprising because
That,
they don't look all that big.
they aren't. They're not very big at all. They're about as big as the size of a dinner plate.
Yeah.
It's very, I think it's a great idea to do something like that. It brightens up the whole room. Oftentimes your full bathroom, like your primary bathroom, might be on the second story, so it's going to
Hmm.
go straight through to the attic and to the through the roof that way. And so you could even but other lighting, like man-made lighting, okay,
Hmm.
that would be something like over top of the vanities,
Okay.
that kind of thing. And you could even get, let's say, a lot of times what people don't think about this, but let's say they've already have tile in their bathrooms, and the tile,
Mhm.
the grout goes first, right? When it's when it's being
Yeah.
worn out, right?
Hmm.
Uh, uh, unless you have a bunch of tiles that are cracked, then just exchange the grout out
Hmm.
with even colored grout. Like you can get, let's say your theme is like rust colored, or a little bit of red or something like that. You can get colored grout
Hmm.
and regrout the bathroom tiles. And then
Okay.
then it's not too, so but the other thing is, we're gonna don't want to run out of time here. But the other things are multiple, these, we were talking about tiles anyway, but you have multiple tile styles. Don't overdo it on that either. Because if you
Hmm.
overindulge in color patterns, it can,
It can be
color or
distracting.
patterns.
Yeah.
Yes, some people just are not going to enjoy that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but you there are trends, and so watch your trends, follow the trends, but realize that you better sell within that year, or else you're going to miss that trend and there's going to be another one.
Right. Shag carpets out again.
Yeah, not right, exactly. Um, but see what a professional would give you advice on in regards to that.
Well, now
Um,
this is something you do at Find
mhm.
Homes
Yeah.
is you have staging people who
Mhm.
will go through and say, yeah, the Mickey Mouse, scrubbing brush might not be something you want to leave in the bathroom.
Right. We're talking, literally from instead of staging, we're talking here like redesigning in a way.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that is something that I think that one of the big things too, if is not having enough counter space. And so if you have counter space, that you let's say you have two vanities, you have two sinks, but there's just not enough counter space. Instead of building that jetted tub, maybe extend the counter to include a vanity where you can have a chair underneath, so that
Uh,
maybe it's for the makeup, or something like
mhm.
that. um,
Function.
some sort of functional counter space. Yeah, exactly. And then if you don't have a bathtub at all in your full bathroom, that don't choose a jetted tub. Instead, you can use a different kind of tub, maybe even a claw tub, which is
Oh yeah.
those are really cool, really nice, and kind of trendy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And but that and that also that kind of signals luxury nowadays,
Hmm.
like jetted tubs signaled luxury in the 80s.
And you don't have to get antique.
Mm-mm.
There are companies now that make modern clawed tubs. You don't have to
Yeah.
go searching for some antique from the 19th century.
Right. That's exactly right. Yep. And I can't tell you enough about poor lighting throughout the house. It doesn't matter, just bathrooms or not, throughout the house.
Hmm.
If you don't have you know, any kind of lighting like what we were talking about, like a sky tube or or a skylight or something like that.
Hmm.
Natural light is essential. I don't in kitchens and bathrooms, I call those wet areas, are that they're essential. Even possibly in a laundry room if you have a luxurious type of house,
Sure.
but keep those things in mind because you also underneath of the cabinets, for example, there's all kinds of nifty things that you can get like at Home Goods or something where you can make it look like you've got tons of room underneath of
Hmm. Hmm.
that kitchen sink or underneath of that bathroom sink, a lot more than you would have with just simply throwing the stuff in there on that one bottom shelf, and
Right,
that's
like a
it.
lazy Susan, things like
Uh-huh.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff that you can get from those places. And then on a more, I guess, more positive note, I suppose, there are definitely six design details that will help sell your home. And number one is first and foremost is a gourmet kitchen. Okay. And
Right.
yeah, and
Oh yeah.
I do like Southern Living magazine and things to look at like that, and because I can tell you when you go on television, there's the things on television are not really real, you know.
Somebody's promotional budget built that rather than just what you had in this. But it's interesting. I almost imagine a day where kitchens are going to take over the house, and you're not going to have a living space for anymore. You're going to have a giant kitchen space with some couches and some benches and things like that, and the heck with the gathering space of the 20th century with a couple of sofas and an easy chair.
Well, I can tell you during COVID, that was very interesting because the people who had those open spaces were sorry they had them in many times because they were, trying. One parent was trying to work from home because they were usually
Yeah.
in the office. The other one, and then you had high schoolers and middle schoolers and elementary schoolers that were trying to do Zoom calls for their schooling, and it was just really crazy. And
Open
so
concept was fine when it was just you in the house.
that's right. But what happens is you have when you have those kinds of open gatherings, and it's the kitchen's the heart and the stomach of the home, right?
Hmm. Right.
But but when you're every piece of furniture when those in those open designs gets bombarded with all of your cooking odors.
And thought about that.
It absorbs your cooking odors. Those
Hmm.
all of your furniture does, and so a lot of people there's a little. Let's just say there are um, the open concept is great
Hmm.
for some people. It doesn't matter, to them. It's really the smell. I'm sorry, but if you're cooking, fish or um, curry or
Right. Yeah.
something of that nature.
Something odiferous.
Yes, exactly. Good word. And so that's often nice. But I think that when we talk about gourmet kitchen, you're looking at something that is like some people are just like stuck on electric. Other people are stuck on cooking gas. But a
Hmm.
gourmet kitchen is going to be large kitchen island is a must-have.
Hmm.
Okay, that's the biggest thing. Also, when you have little it's called well-sited design chops. Okay, and what this is referring to in the industry is like details that are that are inspiring.
Okay.
Like
All right.
like open shelves with I mean, unless you stack them so much that they look junky, but open, open beautiful shelves, things like that, or
Right.
maybe some high wainscoting or things like that. I think maybe a coffered ceiling, or
Right.
something, those kinds of things. I think those are things that are, they're more craftsman style, and I think that's
Right.
a little bit more desirable these days.
Hmm. Okay.
We talked about the open layout, but some of those things I think are, nowadays, I think, speaking of open layout, a lot of people are having outdoor kitchen spaces.
I know they're very big. And I was surprised. I thought you meant just I said, well, I have a grill, and like, oh no, 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 this isn't just a grill. You have
Mm,
sinks
uh,
and
yeah.
complete, and it's
It's a
crazy.
complete outdoor kitchen. They're really, really cool. And I think, you have something like that and that will be a selling point,
Mm. Oh yeah.
for your property. Any kind of built-ins throughout the whole house, built-in bookcases or, things of that
Okay.
nature. Those are really super nice. And you have and take a moment and look at some details in some of these like Southern Living magazines and things, and you can see like millwork and crown molding, and not just the usual crown molding, but make it look like this built-in bookshelf has almost like a ceiling, to it
Okay.
of its
Okay.
own, and so the total different maybe crown molding, even if the rest of the room doesn't have crown molding, do it around the bookcase, those kinds of
Yeah,
things.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
hmm and what
And
you'll
it's a
have,
space saver. It's a space saver because in most houses that's going to be dead space anyway
yeah,
in between the wall
yeah.
and the next wall. So
And if you're
use it all.
building your home, oh my gosh, take a look, go there frequently so that you can see how much space is between the walls.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because sometimes there are nooks and crannies that you can build that are really, really cool.
Hmm.
And talk about utilizing those spaces. Also talk about window seats. Those are
Yeah.
popular, but make sure they're also functional, so that you can pull the seat up or maybe open up little doors like cabinet doors
Hmm.
underneath
Hmm.
the seats, that kind of thing. And get this, you're not going to believe this, Joe.
Okay.
Wallpaper may very well be coming back.
Really? What have they done to
Ah,
wallpaper to bring it back?
I don't know, but it's not going to be in my house. But
I mean, to be fair, I mean, my mother-in-law redid her house probably two times over in the time she lived there. And there she had wallpaper, but it was so subtle
Mhm.
that you couldn't tell. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just it
it's
wasn't
prob
loud, I guess is the
yeah.
point I'm making.
It's not a great idea to do wallpaper, I don't think, in a kitchen or a bathrooms, any place where it can get hot,
Yeah,
because of
or oily.
right, and so it kind of spoils it, and
Mm-hmm.
especially if you take wicked hot showers, it's that wallpaper is not going to stay up there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but believe it or not, it's coming back as long as it has like inspirational kind of themes or something,
Hmm.
like creating an outdoor space in a way that you wouldn't have had otherwise, or that kind of thing. It's really very you know interesting that
Hmm.
that's starting to come back just in certain spaces of the home. And
But not
bathroom's not
paneling.
one of them. And
Not
paneling hasn't come back
No,
yet.
not paneling. Okay, I was just checking to see if paneling had come back yet.
No, it's not. But that outdoor space that we touched on a few minutes ago, I
Hmm.
tell you what, those can be the most beautiful parts of a property is some of
True.
the outdoor spaces,
Okay.
because if that's where you love to dine, and I know we're in the middle of winter here, and that might not be very practical here, but if you're in other areas, it might be. I think
Hmm.
if you create a space, I will say this, sunrooms are usually are selling points, and those sunrooms are actually very where maybe 3/4 of the year, three
Oh,
seasons
sure.
out of the year you can spend in there. And I think that if you do like maybe a fire pit,
Hmm.
or something, or if you have, especially with those sunrooms, if you have like, vaulted ceilings, beautiful vaulted
Oh, yeah,
ceilings,
yeah,
and
yeah.
oh, it's just gorgeous. And then you have, uh, make sure you do during, if you're going to sell during the spring or something like that, make sure you do eye-catching, curb appeal kind of things for with your landscaped lawn,
Hmm. Hmm.
and really do something eye-catching, because first impressions are everything.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a
And
good point. Yeah.
y- yeah, yeah. And then if you've got that first impression, and then it continues all the way to the backyard, then that house has been taken care of very well.
Hmm.
And that buyer is not going to be one of those that it's going to get out the minute the something doesn't pass on the home inspection right away,
Oh, sure.
because
Yeah.
the whole rest of the house seems to be so well taken care of, that kind of thing.
Hmm.
I know that there are some people that are big on solar for roof, for example. uh, personally, I am saving up for a metal roof.
I've seen those
Mhm.
advertised quite a bit. Are they a going concern, I guess is the word?
Well, I think so, because what they do, they have a much longer lifespan. So
Oh,
some of them, you have a lifespan of 100 years. Yeah, so
wow.
and so most of uh, the just the roof shingles that we normally use now, either composite or architectural, those kinds of shingles usually have a 20 to 30-year range.
All right.
And
Yeah, yeah.
but with yeah, if you keep these particular metal roofs, they could last a lifetime, more than 100 years,
Mm.
even. I mean, I know, what's the lifetime for people these days, in their 80s,
90,
I
80,
think, maybe
85, 90.
90.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you think that it could be passing, you're looking at, it could be up to 100 and 125, 150 years, depending on how you take care of it.
Hmm.
If there's a storm or whatever, you still need to have it looked at periodically. Anyway, the point is that I think there's so much that you can do to increase the value of your home, even if you're just going to stay there, and even if you're not going to sell. And I know Find Homes Realty, we're in the business of helping people buy and sell, but sometimes it's just, spend your money on things that are in vogue, okay,
Sure.
so that you will be prepared for anything if you get a job transfer or something like that.
Right.
And then you can call Find Homes Realty. Go to findhomesusa.com. You can and click podcast, and then you can also listen to all of our recordings. And can you believe that this is our what is it, our 66th recording or
I think
something?
it's 66. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Congratulations. So that's a year and a half, no, a year and a quarter, I think, is of doing this.
Yeah,
That's
yes. But
and you
so
haven't
thank
grown
you.
sick of me yet. So that's
Well, I can't possibly do that. You're too nice of a guy.
well, thank you so much, Cynthia, and happy New Year. Here we are to I have no
I can't believe it's
champagne, but
2026.
it's
I know.
2026 already.
Oh
And
my
how many times
gosh.
have you written 2025 on a check and had to scribble it out?
Ah, yes, I know.
Okay. And somebody listening is going, "You still write checks?"
I know.
Yeah,
That's exactly what's happening. Yeah.
well, you have a wonderful weekend, Cynthia. Happy New Year, and we'll talk to you again next Saturday.
You take care. See ya.